Overwatch 2 Invasion might have made waves for its PvE, but Season 6 also brought with it a shipload of changes for competitive play. Changes that could have massive implications for the highest level of play in the land, the Overwatch League. In order to allow Overwatch League teams to acclimatise to the introduction of Flashpoint and the arrival of Illari, the competition has been on pause for 2 weeks and is set to come back on August 26th. And when the league gets back underway, Flashpoint will make its debut and Illari will be added to the hero pool and be eligible for active play for everyone. Teams have obviously been practicing behind the scenes trying to get a handle on the new game state, so to try and get inside the heads of those who play the game better than anyone else, GGRecon and our own Yiska asked insiders from 10 distinct Overwatch League teams to shed light on the evolving meta found in scrimmages around the league. So what are the pros saying about the metagame? And does Illari have a shot at cutting through the comps and arriving into the spotlight with a flashbang? And yes, suffice to say, we'll be talking about the league's reaction to the Illari nerfs and what they mean a little later in the video, so stay with us. But before we get to that, let's start on the front line, shall we? According to those sources then, there is a diverse range of tanks making their mark on the battlefield. Orisa, Sigma, Doomfist and D.Va are seeing active play in scrims for various squads. While some teams are keen on implementing Winston to run house in the dive archetype, an old staple and a welcome favourite. An interesting twist on that standard comp though includes experimentation with a Winston rush strategy. Generally, the basic premise of a rush comp is to choose a particular target, either the most dangerous or the most vulnerable enemy at that particular moment, and run them down with extreme prejudice to secure the kill. But according to our insiders' estimates, it's not necessarily likely to cement itself as a mainstream meta. For damage dealers, Soldier is experiencing something of a resurgence despite the recent tweaks, emerging as a preferred hit scan choice among many teams. Torbjorn, on the other hand, is establishing himself as a potent force in that aforementioned rush comp and anti-dive strategies. Even with the recent introduction of Illari proving that her healing pylons are actually more powerful than Torb's turret, clearly the Overwatch League isn't holding that against him. The diverse dive compositions that are running around cater to the hugely varied map architectures, leading to teams incorporating heroes like Genji, Echo, Tracer and Soldier based on the strategic requirements of specific terrains. Variety, it seems, is the preferred spice of the Overwatch League right now. And before we get to the support heroes, you've hit the subscribe checkpoint, so make sure you click that sub button down below if you want to see more. Now, support heroes. They're witnessing their own kind of evolution in the current meta. While the classic Lucio and Ana combination remains a tried and tested favourite formula, and is absolutely just as potent as it was, teams are broadening their horizons a bit. Double flex support compositions, particularly those with Illari and Baptiste, are gaining traction. Illari in particular has been a standout, frequently topping damage charts in her appearances. Not necessarily the first stat you look at for support heroes, but it's still important. So are we likely to see the new support scale to the top of the meta pick leaderboards? Well, the new game mode Flashpoint does seem to be a prime playground for her, and the pros are loving it too, with the mode garnering a positive reception from the teams that Yiska spoke to. The preferred compositions that players are running in this mode include the likes of Orisa, Soldier, Torbjorn, Illari and Baptiste. And look, despite these patterns, it's clear teams are still very much in the exploratory phase. We're still just over a week from the league restarting, and a few compositions have been exclusive to 1 or 2 teams, so sharing those might jeopardise competitive integrity, so we're not going to be talking about any specifics beyond that, sadly. It should also be said that we spoke to these sources before the news of Illari's nerfs broke. When Illari drops into comp play, both her healing pylon and captive sun ult are taking some small nerfs to balance her out a bit. What those changes will actually look like isn't especially clear from the dev announcement, but it's probably fair to assume that her ult charge time will likely be increased a little bit, and the amount of HP healing pylon churns out might get taken down a notch. Or the HP pool of the pylon itself might take a hit like we suggested in our previous vid on Illari's abilities. According to the devs, they want Illari to keep her aggressive flex support nature going, and hopefully these small changes won't make too much of a difference in her overall power. She's a good hero, and it'll be interesting to see whether her appearances in scrims actually translates to solid playtime once she becomes available. Wrapping it up then, while certain trends are surfacing among the crowd, the consensus among insiders right now is that the definitive meta is yet to be etched in stone. Many sources felt that dive is unlikely to survive on most maps, with the meta currently trending towards a bunker style composition around the aforementioned double flex supports and probably Orisa. Or at least it was going to be like that. And then I was going to end this video by saying, you know, a lot can change before the league goes live next week, so let's see where this goes, and then boom! Surprise patch right before the league gets underway again. Which means everything changed. Again, practically overnight. According to GGRecon sources from participating teams, the patch is expected to have a significant impact on the competitive meta, likely affecting all preparation done in the past week. The changes are expected to massively affect the league's meta that all of this kind of 2-week grace period has been allowing to build up, potentially resetting meta comps back essentially to what they were earlier in the season. Rush, head coach of the current champions Dallas Fuel, tweeted that the Winston and Ana-centric dive meta would probably keep on going. You know, that dive meta that literally a minute ago we thought might be dead, might have just been given a second shot at life thanks to these changes. On several occasions, the Overwatch League postseason has been impacted by late patches, some of which saw competition take place with as little as 5 days of preparation time. Throughout the history of the league, balance patches have played a massive role in who did well and who didn't in Overwatch League's postseasons. In an interview with GGRecon earlier this year, former pro player and head coach of the Atlanta Reign, Gator, stated that late changes had a significant impact on the season's outcome, stating that every year, someone gets lucky. Now, the Overwatch League's strategic 2-week break could have alleviated the late patch's repercussions, but it's come so late and is a fairly significant balance update directly affecting the newest hero in the game, so it's obviously predicted to diminish this buffer's intended effect. The silver lining, if there is one, is that there are over 3 weeks remaining until the postseason kicks off, which does provide a slightly longer adjustment period compared to last year's tight 5-day window. So there is a chance we could see everything that has been worked on over the last couple of weeks come to fruition eventually, or at least some version of it anyway. For now though, despite the restart to the season initially looking very bright for Illari, there's a chance her time in the Overwatch League sun might have been a little bit short-lived.